Good morning. I'm passing through a little country, on a little country road along the southern side of Lake Atitlan. There's a view of the lake there, very pretty. You can see there, so it's pretty much going around the rim of the lake. And I'm going to get to a point where I break off again to the left and keep to the lake side and eventually get to Panajachel, which is a little tourist town, big tourist town actually. A lot of foreigners there. You hear a lot of different foreign languages, and not just English. A lot of European tongues and German, French, French Canadian, Dutch. A lot of people in Panajachel come up and really get the feel of the lake up there. But as I told you in my previous vlog, that there's a lot of little towns around this lake that offer just a lot of culture and just a nice flavor of country life in Guatemala. You get a lot of the indigenous people that live in these areas, a lot of different cultures, tongues, different types of food, but the people are very nice. They're all friendly. They enjoy tourism. They make a lot of, that's where a lot of people make their money too, is tourism in these places. So, but Panajachel, the little town, is pretty much the mecca. And a lot of times when you get to Panajachel, you have to take a boat to get to some of these little towns, which, run across the lake. And as long as you got good weather on the lake, it's not too choppy or anything. It's a pleasant little boat trip to get across to the other side. I think from Panajachel to Santiago, which I visited on the motorcycle the other day, was, in the boat, it's probably about a 45-minute trip in a little motorboat that probably fits about 10 or 15 people. So it's not a bad trip. You can see here the little towns that I'm passing through, little villages. They're not really even towns. The road is not really in great shape. You can probably tell there's a lot of patchwork on there. There's a lot of potholes. The grading on the road is very uneven, and especially if you're on a motorcycle, you really can't go too fast, apart from the fact that there's a lot of curves, and you can go around a curve and then you get up on the back of one of those little tuk-tuks that's basically a motorized motorcycle, which just got a little cabin on there for taking a couple people in there. They're using as taxis mostly. Here it is, one on my right here. And they charge a few quetzales or less than $1 just to take you from one little place to another here on these streets in these little towns. But again, commenting on the roads, you have a lot of potholes, and then you go through these little towns and they have a lot of speed bumps. Of course, the local people want you to slow down so you're not going through there too fast, and sometimes it's get you to stop at the little stores. Here we're coming up on the split off here. We're going to go to the left toward Panajachel. If you go to the right, it goes through a little town called Patricia, and eventually you'll get back to the Pan American Highway, which ends up going back to Guatemala City if you want to go that way. But anyway, as I was saying, they got a lot of speed bumps or potholes, and potholes or speed bumps together. So you really can't, on these roads, you don't want to go too fast. You're just seeing some sand off to the right, some dirt that's washed down from the mountainside over here on the right. So you don't want to go too fast. If you're driving a motorcycle here, it's very difficult sometimes. Like I said, you come around a quarter, come up on another slower moving vehicle, a truck that's carrying farm goods or so. So it's a good twisty road, but again, you want to take it easy and go around there. Again, you're getting some nice pictures of some of the lakes here, of some of the lake views. Off on the left-hand side, there's the mountain, the Atitlan volcano that you just saw on the left. And like I said, it's a very beautiful drive today. The weather's nice. It's probably going to rain in the afternoon though, so we'll see. So you can continually see the volcanoes that rim this lake. There's really three of them. There's Volcano Atitlan, and then over by where I was camping, you have Toliman, okay, and then you have San Pedro, which is to the north, okay. But there are three, pretty big sized volcanoes, and they're all dormant. Okay, none of them are active, but it's always something that can, go off, I guess, at some point. It's been many hundreds of years, I think, since they've had any activity. But there's always that possibility that's looming over you. I guess when you live in these areas, we don't have hurricanes. We get rains from the hurricanes sometimes, but we don't have any hurricanes. But volcanoes and seismic activities and tremors and shakes and things like that. But, these volcanoes are ever present around here. And Lake Atitlan they've discovered a lot of ruins in the bottom of the lake. In other words, toward the shore parts, under the water though now, they've found Mayan ruins, or ruins of ancient peoples that I guess when the lake was not as big, they made these sacred sites to pray to the gods on these mountains. And even today, a lot of the indigenous people, give mystical powers to these volcanoes. And, maybe they think the gods live up there, but they sometimes walk up them and have some kind of prayers and songs and stay up there the night and really kind of wish for, a lot of rain, good crops, healthy children, well-being. So these mountains, like I say, they have a mystical importance to the people that live around them up here. And they must have been pretty impressive the days that they were spouting off flames and spewing off smoke. It must have been a bit scary to be living around these parts when things like that happened, especially if you didn't really know what they were. Okay, so now we're on basically the other side of the lake. You can see we're getting around, seeing a lot more activity, a lot more businesses, schools, a lot more traffic, a lot more potholes, and crossing into where we get into Panajachel. So we're ended here, and hopefully get out of Panajachel and towards Quetzaltenango.